Hello viewers, it's Sentai Michael from School Review, bringing you a new podcast from my stepper called the No.1 Sentai Ring. And like always, I'm going to speak very loudly, very clearly, and very slowly, in case you don't understand me. Also, I'll try to do my best not to break your heart during this art podcast recording as well, not to cause any art feedback as well. And finally, if you're under 18, this audio podcast recording will change to adult language. Once again, if you're under 18, this audio podcast recording will change to adult language. If you're under 18, now if you're over 18, that means you've got to watch this audio podcast recording. Now, with this everything else out of the way, let's get to the latest episode of Gozyuger. So basically, we see how working at some witch fancy club, and basically, seemed like, he was not, he was just doing his job. He just, felt kind of bored, and all of a sudden, his brother took a drink off the tray that Hal was holding, and basically, what are you doing here? So basically, Hal said, well, Hal was told his brother Quan, what are you doing here? Oh, well, I do own a company after my brother. So basically, this is where all the rich people come. So basically, where I conduct my business at. It's just chill. So basically, Hal and Carl started to. Start to chat it up and and basically kind of. How kind of tell Quan that he had the opportunity to change things, but he did it, if he would have, during that whole trial to get the whole Rio Tiger sword, he could have changed things, to better, we could have been living the life together with our family right now, me, our parents, and etc., etc. So basically, Quan was okay. So basically, and that's when Hal started to really question him, why did you during the bridal in the first place? The bridal gang in the first place. The reason. I didn't always. I didn't want to join the bridal, but, just to say, certain taxes made me to do it. So, basically, but, I always thought that, we would be together or whatnot. So, basically, after how it's kind of was kind of, a bit kind of suspicious of his response, but basically, and that's what Carl said. Well, that's all I got to say about that for now. So basically, let's just say, brother, let's just say, things next time we chat, things might get a little tense between us, and it just left. Anyway, meanwhile. Sorry, I need to sneeze. So, meanwhile, back at the Vital headquarters, basically, Bouquet gave her sister Ribbon a bouquet with a ribbon on it and whatnot. And also Detective June had sent Wendy on a task to capture the Rangers with a special box that is a special mini prison. So basically, if she opened up the box, people are trapped inside this mini prison inside the box. So basically, and also, fighting to start with some werewolf foot soldiers to help her out, to be guards in that prison, along with the area foot soldiers as well. So anyway. So basically, women went to go do her task to catch the Rangers in that mini prison box, and basically, and that's when Mr. Shining Eyes and Miss Sweetcake say that, oh, Bouquet, your real sign has been dusty lately, and basically did it? Ever since Ribbon came, I've been so occupied with her, I haven't been taking care of my Ryu shrine and whatnot. Anyway, so basically, we got to the hidden word. It turns out she drove Bouquet's gift on the ground, and basically turns out she wants to be the head general of the Bardo crew, and basically she's willing to do anything to see that go. Anyway, meanwhile, so basically, we see how at the cafe, along with Ryoga and Kenjin, and basically, he was thinking about stuff and whatnot, thinking about his father's answer about him not didn't want to join the bio and stuff and whatnot, messing in his head. So basically, so basically the others was maybe you should. The next time that you see him, and just get a real straight up answer for him about what made him join the bottom in the first place and whatnot. So anyway, and how it's and whatnot. Anyway, turns out when Kenjin left the club, this black line starts to spread to his arm. As you know, there's this weird X on Kwan's body that's been spreading throughout his body. So basically, it seems like the X is starting to absorb Kwan's body, but we don't know how and why it's doing it. So anyway, Kwan was walking by himself, and all of a sudden, all of a sudden, a old friend from the bottom world showed up, and basically, who had the Dekaranger Ring named KO, started to attack him. Anyway, meanwhile, back at the cafe, Hal was telling the other Rangers, about his time in the Butter World when he was young. So basically, so basically, him and his brother were being raised in the Butter World by these two adults. The woman who got killed way back in the beginning of the series, and the other one being KR, a dude who was a former detective and whatnot. So anyway, KO had the Dekaranger Ring and started to fight Kwan, and KO, or I think KO was I came looking for you, Kwan. I'm here to help you change your ways and whatnot, and make sure that you to change your ways and whatnot. And basically, and Kwan was like, yeah, right. And basically, Kwan transformed to Gordo, and KO transformed into Dekaranger. And basically, it seemed like the fight was going Kwan's way until KO transformed into Premier Dekaranger armor form, and basically had the upper hand against Kwan. So basically, Kwan used the power of his version of the Wu Caliber 50 to take down Kaon, but managed to get Kaon managed to get the upper hand against Kaon and force him to do more, to de-transform and whatnot, and basically so basically it was like so basically, Chaos ended up defeating Khan and forcing him to be transformed out of his Gozyuger form. Anyway, so basically, how along with Ryoga, Rio, and Kenjin and Mashido showed up on the scene, it's like, and basically, how it's like, and Hal was like, was shocked to see that Kaon get and whatnot. So basically, Kaon's afraid that, as Kaon demorphs and afraid that, I'm here to help Khan change his ways and whatnot. And basically, out of nowhere, we see Ribbon use the power of the prison to trap them all to trap them all inside in the little box mini prison and whatnot. So anyway, inside the mini prison, Reverend would say that you guys will, so basically you guys will be trapped, there's a bunch of foot soldiers inside the prison that will guard you and try to take your ring. So basically, Carl was like, hey, I'm part of your team, so basically let me out. And basically, Reverend was like, screw you, you're a disgrace, so basically blah, blah, blah. So basically, like, you could rot there with the others. So basically, Quan was not happy about women, being screwed over by women and whatnot. So anyway, that's when Kara explained what happened to Quan, and turns out, why there was in the Bible and the number one. In the number one world, the Bible had found them, and basically Khan had to sacrifice himself to save Hal, who was young at the time, along with Mai and Kaon. But Kaon managed to get to the Bible Palace. But he was too late. Tekajun had gave him the power of her ring, and therefore he became Gargordo. And ever since, he wanted to, fix that wrong and whatnot. So basically, like, Carl was like, oh, you don't even, so you got part of the story, but not the full story. Anyway, so basically, Carl said that, well, all right then, let's call it truce for now to break out of this prison and whatnot. So basically, the minister took some guards to get out of the prison cell, but they managed to get the information about a special box that will get them out if they destroy it and whatnot. So basically, working together as a team, along with Kwan and Kaon, the Rangers found the box and basically started to fight against the foot soldiers, being the berry and the werewolf foot soldiers, to try to get the box and destroy it and whatnot. So basically, the Rangers were fighting the regular foot soldiers while Kale and Quan and Hal were fighting against the werewolf foot soldiers. So basically, Karen transport into Decker Pioneer armor mode, and basically Hal transport into use the Rio Tegasaur to transport into Tegasaur Wolf and whatnot, and Quan had used the rings that Tegasaur had to transport into the different Megazord combinations, just like Tegasaur is able to, and basically he's also able to use the other ranges reference to wear along with those rings as well. So anyway, basically the Rangers got the box, and basically once the box was destroyed, the mini prison was destroyed, and basically everybody, the Rangers, along with Khan and KO, were all free from the prison. So basically, Women was not happy about the situation, but she was scared that, Carl was like, but she was mostly scared of Carl, seeking revenge on her for trapping her for trapping him in that prison along with the other Rangers. So basically, seems like Kwan was about to really mess up with it, and out of nowhere he starts to attack Hal and Chaos and force Hal to de-transform, and basically use the power of both his. Use the power of his version of the move calendar 50 and in a different version, in a different version of and the power of Hal's calendar 50 to force Quan to de-transform and win his ring. So basically, and that's what how, stated too. So, told the whole story about that day that Tekaju gave her the ring. So basically, Tekaju did not force him to give her her ring. He willingly accepted Tekaju's ring, and basically it turns out that the power of Tekaju's ring, the power to transform into Gargoro, it will eventually about his body and whatnot, and he accepted that power and whatnot. He wanted to be powerful and so basically, he made a contract to become the Gargoro, the Ring Hunter, and for the sake of the power, and therefore the curse of Tekaju's ring is is devouring his body at this massive rate. So anyway, so basically after he explained the situation to everybody, explained the situation to his brother and the others, he walked away with the Dekaranger ring while the others not trying to stop him. And basically, women was started to kiss up to him, and basically I'm sorry about the whole prison, trapping you in that mini prison thing and whatnot. And basically go to him and say, well, at least I got this Sentai ring. But if you ever try to screw me over again, you little one, I will kill you. And basically women was like, yes, he's like, yes sir. Anyway, so basically K.O. was hurt pretty badly, and therefore Hal took K.O. to the hospital, and believe after K.O. worked at the hospital and Hal was next to her, after what my brother did, I don't consider him my brother no more. But but K.O. said, I still believe there's some good inside him. He had the opportunity to he could have tried to took the other Rangers ring, but he didn't. So anyway, and also that Gargoro power is causing some great pain inside. So basically, K.O. was you should not give up on your brother yet. Anyway, and the episode ended with Quan at the Bio headquarters with the Dekaranger ring in hand, and how next to KO's body, thinking what their next move, and basically that's how the episode ended on this note. So anyway, this was a good episode. So anyway, we gotta think about the latest episode of Gozyuger. Good, bad, or just nah. Please let me know the comments below. Anyway, sign off for Screen News 1.